Everybody, welcome to Snapshot Sunday. We have a couple people in. Say hi so I know who's here. And we'll get started in just a few minutes. Looks like we have 3, which is awesome. I'm just going to get set up here so I can see comments. Can't see them on this one, so hubby's just setting things up for me. Oh, this is cute. It looks across, you can see it across the top of there. Anyways, okay, so we're going to do something a little bit different than what I have been doing today, just because I think I'd like to add something. So hi, Maria. Hi, Janet. Thanks for coming. We got a couple more, so I'm just going to give them a couple more minutes before we get started. I don't have my nails all painted nice today. I didn't get a chance to do anything like that. So, oh, looks like we lost somebody. I think we lost Maria. Okay. Hi, Anne-Marie. Thanks for joining. Okay, we're just waiting for a couple more people, and then we'll get started. My lighting is a little dark down towards my hands here, but I think we'll be okay. I think it'll work. So we're going to do, as I said, we're going to do something a little bit different today. So it shouldn't be as long as it normally is. It should be a little bit shorter because I'm only going to actually make one card with you today. But I want to talk about something that I'm going to add to what we normally do. So I think we'll get started since we're a little ways in now. So, okay. So what I've been thinking about, sorry, I guess I should introduce myself in case there's somebody new here. I'm Sharon Ings from Art Ings Creations, and I do the Snapshot Sunday every Sunday at 2:30. What I want to do today, I think, is we're going to talk about and do some challenges and how to do a challenge. And I'm assuming that a lot of you already have done this already, but maybe, haven't really thought about it or have wanted to try it. And I think I'm going to add a challenge to what I do. And one of them is going to like a monthly challenge. So let's just get started and I'll show you what I've done. And we'll explain a few things as I go along and maybe get some feedback from you on this as well. Okay, so the best place to find challenges I found was, you can get them in a number of places, but a lot of different Facebook groups will offer a challenge. A lot of websites will offer a challenge, but I just went on to Pinterest and I typed in free, because I didn't want to pay for anything, free printable card challenges. And there's a lot to choose from, or you can even design your own. And I've done some of them as well myself. But today I just wanted to use a few that I've found to make it easy for you to go and look and see what to do. Now, one thing when you're doing a challenge, some of them will show you sizes. This one does. Some of them won't. They're just giving you an idea of what the different shapes and how you can add them and what you can do to them. It's only a suggestion. In my mind, I look at a challenge and go, okay, this is a suggestion, but it doesn't mean that you need to do 2 squares that are 2 3/4 inches and 2 squares that fit inside that are 2.5. It's just that that's the layout that I'm kind of looking for. For instance, in this one, I added an extra layer because I didn't want all of this background to be just one plain thing, whether it was a cardstock or whether it was a DSP. So I added an extra layer to this. And so my sizing for the layer is on here as well. And this particular card is a 7x10 card. And you'll see that it shows you here 7x5, but you have to remember that the width is actually 10 so that you can fold it at 5 and score it at 5. And so those are the kinds of things that you need to consider. So this is the card that I came up with from this sketch. And this circle that's here doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use a circle. So in my case, I decided to use a butterfly. I did do the squares exactly. I'm going to move that up a little bit. Hopefully we can still see it. I did do the squares exactly as they suggested, but again, I have 3 layers on this square, not just the 2, because I wanted my sentiment in this square. And instead of having a strip, and this doesn't have to be a strip, it can be whatever you want. So in my case, I used a ribbon. So I put a ribbon across there, and then instead of circles, 2 little flowers. So this is just a base plan to show you what layout it could look like. I added an extra step to this challenge for myself in that I wanted to make sure that every card I made whatever the challenge was, I used, hi Janet. Oh, you're not seeing anything? I don't know why. Maria, are you seeing everything fine? Anyways, I wanted to make sure that, let me just take this off there. Does that help? Took the comments off. I don't know if the comments were in the way or not on my filming thing. But anyways, I challenged myself to only use scraps of DSP and scraps of cardstock out of my scrap bins. So just as an example, this is what my scrap bin of DSP looks like. It's just a big bag of little bits and pieces of DSP. So that's what it looks like. Okay, I don't know why my tablet's all kind of weird over there, but hopefully you can see it okay. And so that's what I did for all of them. Honey, are we okay on your end out there? Robert? Okay, all right. All right, back. Okay, so that's how I did this particular thing. And then, as I say, I used some of these measurements, but in this one, I was a bow as opposed to being a circle. So it's a guide. So when you do a challenge, add an extra challenge to yourself. You know, okay, I'm going to use this particular stamp set, or I'm going to use a particular bundle of DSP that I maybe purchased and liked, but haven't done anything with. Just add an extra step to this challenge as opposed to just being the card sketch. Don't touch this part of it because that'll ruin it.
It's not wide enough.
It's fine. Okay, so the next one that I did, again, was another sketch. And this was a little bit different. This one is a normal A2, I believe, card, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4. And again, this one I did almost exactly the way this one shows, except because I didn't add an extra layer to it. So this is the card that I ended up with this one. I did add an extra layer actually, because this is one piece on the back, and then I used this as the hydrangea paper, and I just cut out. That's one of the papers that had a design on the top and a design on the bottom, and I just cut out the design from the bottom and made this the base of my card. But using scraps of all different sizes of or kinds of DSP as well, and then different shapes in the center. It doesn't have to be that exact same shape. It can be whatever shape you want it to be. So I made this one a sympathy card, and then just matched my stamp colors with whatever it was I was using. So that's a pretty simple one and a pretty easy one. And this is an example of not having any measurements. So you could actually make this card any size you wanted, but you have a guideline of how it should be set up. So I just, decided how wide I wanted those pointed pieces and where I wanted the layout to be set up and where my embellishments would go. That's one thing they don't show you is where to put embellishments, so you kind of put wherever you want. So that's the one that I did that came up with that sketch, and I was happy with how that turned out. Then this one was, again, a bigger card. Now this one, and that's another thing you've got to be careful of when you find these sketches, because this one calls for a base that's 6 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so this isn't the one that was the wrong measurement, I don't think. So that would be 12 by 4. So your card would be, I didn't do it that way. I did more of a square card. So this one is 6 by 6. So I used a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock and cut it in half and made it 6 by 6. This technically would be a taller, skinnier card. I didn't want it to look like that. So I changed the outside, but I used most of these measurements to be exactly the way they showed them there. If you look, there's a line, so there's 2 separate pieces here, and they give you those two measurements. Oh, I know what it is. This says that the base is 6 by 4, but I think they mean this base. So if that's the case, 4 plus 2.5 would be 6 by 8.5, and 8.5 and 8.5 is 16, which makes the paper too wide to make it. That's why I ended up with a square. That's why it worked out. To me, that math did not work out properly. So then I just adjusted these layers however I wanted. So this one, I did some stamping on. It was a plain white piece, and that was this piece here. This one I wanted to back with black because I picked out my paper first. So in this particular case, normally I pick out my base, And the base may not be a scrap. The base may be a piece of whatever cardstock I'm using, but not necessarily a scrap. So in this particular card, I picked out my pieces that I wanted to use first, and then got my cardstock based on those colors in those pieces. Stamped with, I didn't keep that stamp set here. I think it's either hello, I can't remember the name of the stamp set. It's not awful. I should have written it down. I usually do, but I didn't. And then I cut the pieces out of this particular. These two came from the same DSP. This came from a different one. This is from the Marvelous DSP rating, but it blends in really well with the colors, and that's why I used it. So the only thing I changed on this one, and if you look at this, you can see that this particular piece is supposed to be behind this particular piece, and this piece is behind this particular piece. So your drawing gives you that idea of how that's going to be placed. You could raise and lower these, make them 3D however you want. That's just a guideline as to the sizes that you're using. And in this particular case, they show 3 circles, and I didn't want 3 circles. So I used my embellishments to be those 3 pieces and not necessarily placed the way they placed them. So my bow is the top, and then the 2 little rose, metal rose pieces I used as my embellishments. So that's why that turned out. And on the inside, I just put a little insert for the sentiment plus a little stamped one of the flowers, single flowers as well. And these are colored with my blends, just to add a little bit of color that matches the rest of the paper. And I actually colored the few single flowers. This paper has no color on it other than black and the blue, but I colored those single flowers that were on their own the same color as I did on there. So that's how that particular card turned out that way from that sketch. And then the last one that I just want to show you was this particular sketch, which is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. And they show you the layers, and they've given the measurement for the layers. I wanted to turn mine the other way, so I made, using this same style, but I just did it horizontally and made it a landscape layout. This piece of whatever you want to use back here, in my case, I used a piece of the cardstock, but I also added ribbon on top of that because I thought it needed a little bit of something. But again, these were just scraps that I pulled out my back piece first and then went looking for the pieces of scraps that I wanted to use and make sure, not even from the same DSP set, they're just scraps that were in my scrap folder, and just blend them together as best that I could. And used a die cut for my centerpiece. So this piece is what my centerpiece is that I put my sentiment on for this particular card. I don't think I even did the inside of this one. No, I did not. So it helped me to focus and use colors that I don't normally use or wouldn't necessarily. And although I loved this paper when I got it, I didn't do a whole lot of the petunias. And so I hadn't used a lot of the paper. Now, something to consider, which if you'll notice closely, just don't look too close, but if you look closely, this paper really should be in this orientation because of how the flowers are. But it doesn't look bad, but you just need to make sure that you're watching the direction of your patterns as well. So again, this is another one of the sketches for the challenges that will give you sizes that you can use as well. I thought that was kind of funny that it said Sunday Sketches. It was pretty close to Sunday Snapshot, I thought. Okay, so the one that I'm going to actually do with you today, just to show you how my thinking process worked, is this one. Again, this is a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 card. This one is done in the landscape. And this is the one that I did, firstly, to go with it. I wanted to pick up a little bit of a different color because I don't use a lot of blue, but I like blue. Some of the new colors that are coming out for 2022 to 24 have, I think, 3 blues in them, and I'm really excited about that because blue is not a lot of a color that I have in different things. So, Friendly Hello. Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much. That's what we used in this one, was the Friendly Hello. And the same with the one before. The paper was Friendly Hello. You'll probably remember that because it's one you really like. I hope you're seeing stuff now. Janet, hi. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. Okay, so this one, again, now we've got 1, 2, 3 different pieces of DSP. But when you put them all together, they looked quite nice together, I thought, and I really liked it. This one doesn't show you where to put the sentiment. You can put the sentiment in the center if you wanted, but I kind of wanted to replace my circle, the circle they're showing with the butterfly. And then, so I just added a little piece from my sentiment down there. So for the one we're going to do today together, I went and picked the scraps that I wanted, but I haven't, other than cutting my base, which I did, I have not done anything else. I just grabbed the scraps of paper that I wanted to see if they would go together and if I could use. So I have made my base, and we're just going to put these aside. This is, as I said, I'm going to leave my sketch here so we can just have a look at it while we're doing this. Mind my arm here. Okay, I hope you can still see that. I'll know in a minute when my camera catches up. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you can still see that. All right, so we have our base, which we're going to do it this way. Actually, maybe we'll just do it the other way so that we can show that you can do it both ways. Yes, let's do it the other way. So we have our base. Now I need to decide what I want in the background. I've already decided that I think I want this for the piece that goes up this way. If we do it in the landscape, let's do it in the landscape. It'll look better. So I want this to be my striped piece. So I think I'm going to keep that aside. I have a piece of vellum because I'm not quite sure if we're going to use that or not. Like I say, I'm making this one. This is my thought process of how I would be doing this to begin with. So this is a really, this paper is so pretty, and peachy colors are not something that I use a lot. And I don't want as much of a space as they show behind here. I'll make a good size, maybe a 1/2 inch, but I don't want as much. So let me grab my cutter. I think I am going to do it like this. And I have enough pieces that if it doesn't work out when I first do it the way I want it to, then I have some spares left over. But okay, so let's, and this side is pretty too. I couldn't decide which side I liked. So again, it's a process as you're doing it. Because I could use that. I think they're all a little bit too plain. I think I want to use this side for the back. All right, so I'm going to make this 4. So let's just cut this by 5 1/4. And that'll give it a good border around there. So 4. I know you can't see me cutting off screen here probably. That is 4. Okay, let's see if that's going to give me. No, I think I want it a little bit. Maybe a little bit more of a border because they're showing a little bit more of a border. So let's make this 3 3/4 by 5. That's 5 1/4. Let's make that 5. And that will give us a bit wider border. Yeah, that'll give us a bit more of the green showing through there. And I'm just going to lay this out before I actually attach it. So then our next layer is the one that goes this way. And again, I said I want to use this, and I really do think I like this. Maybe I don't like the stripe now. Let's see that other green that I had. Well, now I think I like that green. And where was our other peach? Was on the back of the other one was, this is the other one that I have. I pulled this out too. So let's see what this looks like. I kind of like that too. Okay, opinions. What do you think? Give me an opinion. Do you think the stripe, because there is gold in here, so that is going to pick up a little bit of that gold. And then, I thought there's that, and there's that, here's the other piece, which will pick up the peach in there. So what do you think? Tell me what you think. I really want your opinion on this. Okay, I'm going to, let's just say this is, so this one goes, if you look at this design, it goes all the way from, it goes right over top of that backing. So it goes all the way. So we're going to make this at least the first green. So that's Pam. So this one, I'm assuming, yeah, I think you're right, Pam. Okay, so let's make sure it is long enough. Oh, let's see, it's not long enough, so that might not work. We'll save that for maybe this part that goes this way, because this is supposed to go the whole card, and I kind of want it to do that. So I think I'm going to go think I'll go with the gold just for there. So this needs to be, oh, we need this piece. This needs to be, this is 4 1/4. And we want the stripes to go sideways. So it's going to be 2 inches wide. 2 inches wide. And yeah, that piece I've got is not quite long enough, and I don't, oh, wait a minute, maybe I can get it off the back of here. Yes, I can. Okay, Pam, I'm gonna go with that suggestion. So 2 inches wide. They say you can play with these papers and go back and forth between the two, and then we get this out of the way. We're missing, and this we need 4 1/4. So 4 1/4. So that is going to go this way, and then we need another piece to go this way. And I don't know as I want that stripe on there, but maybe. Let's flip these over and see what else we... Oh, no, let's maybe do this one. I think maybe this would be better. Yes, let's do that one. And that piece is 2 1/4 by 3. So let's just see if I have... Nope, and that's not wide enough. And what's that the back of? That's the back of the gold. Okay, so we need 2 1/4 by 3. So let's do 3 by 2 1/4. So that's going to be this piece. And they show it butted right up against there. I didn't like it like that. I kind of liked it off the side, so I got to see a bit more of that piece that was there. And then for our white piece, which is going to be what our sentiment is on, I want to die cut that, because all of these designs are going to show you just the flat 2D portion of how it's going to look, but how you make it turn out, or what you use to put it together, is up to you. So in this particular case, I'm going to use my Painted Labels dies, because I like this little squirrely gig that's in here. And we're going to get a piece of white out of my white scrap bag. Again, I just have a bag that I throw all my pieces in when I'm not using them. There's one there. I'm going to make sure it's going to fit in my bag. Yeah. So we're going to do this. I'm probably not in the screen here now. And we're going to use the lovely little smaller. I just love this little mini shot here. It's just awesome. I use it all the time. And I've just ordered some new embossing folders that will fit in this. I didn't have any that were for this mini one, so I have ordered that. Let's just run this through here. That's going to be our center. And that's going to be for our sentiment. Get that out of the way. Get rid of our little pieces out of here. This one's pretty easy. Don't really even need to use your little, oh, that's one that doesn't want to come out of there. All right, so bring our card back in that we've got the pieces placed on here. And then we're going to sit, this is going to go over here. Now, it looks a little stark to me when it's as white as it is. So let's add a bit of color. And so I'm using Pale Papaya, which is the color in the DSP, and Pear Pizzazz. Those are the colors we're going to use. So let's just do a little bit around the edges of that one. Just to add a bit of color there. I've got one of my sponges. This is my pink one, so we'll use the pink one. I don't want a lot, So I'm just going to be very, very careful here and just soften up those edges a little bit so they're not quite as starkly white. As they were, and then that'll look nice in there. Actually, I'm just going to go around the edge of this circle as well. Okay, and then I think I'm going to stamp it in the green. We could actually stamp it in a darker green because there is a dark green in there, and there's a dark green in there. But let me just try it in the green, and we'll see if it works. Now, we need something that's going to fit into that circle, and I kind of want it to be a birthday card. So let's see if this happy birthday will fit in there. Yep, it will. So just grab a block here. Make sure this is on straight. And let's just test that here. Yes, I think I like it. Make sure I didn't get anything on the edges here. I don't want anything on the edges of that. Stamp that. There we go. Okay. That's really all we need our stamp set. Our stamp is for. This time, I probably will do the inside, but just for the timing purposes. Okay, so let's mount this. I'm going to go, so my tape runner ran out. I'm waiting for refills. So we're going to go with the glue today. This side really is pretty. I really do like this. Hi, Della. Thanks for coming in. Okay, we're working on challenges today. And we're going to talk about it at the end of what I'm planning, what I'm proposing, and see if you're interested. Okay, so let's do that one. And then our second one is going to be the other way. Okay, so this one goes right from the top to the bottom. We'll just leave a little space over there. Make sure we're straight. And this is our piece that we want to make the center. And actually, because we have this circle here, I'm going to actually come over a little bit. Not too much more. I'll center it. I think I'll just center it. So we ended up not using that gold at all, which is okay too. I think this is a softer look. I think you were really right, Pam. That was the right choice for that other green. So put this on here. Now we're going to pop this up. So it's a fairly quick card, a quick challenge, sketch challenge. And let's just place this over here. Pop that, gives it a little bit more dimension. And now, of course, we need to pretty it up a little bit. Now, I went through my stash of embellishments, and I have a whole little, but this is basically what all my scraps of stashes look like. This one would be perfect, but it's just not, I don't have enough of them to do that. So I had to look for something else. So I came up with, so again, I'm going to ask for your opinion. I came up with these, which are in color square gems, and I kind of liked, I don't have one that matches perfectly, but I thought that this was pretty close to some of the colors that are in there, and I kind of like the looks of that. Then I also have these little cute stars, but to me, it just could be me, but to me, they looked a little orangey. So I'm just going to pull them out, and you can tell me what you think of those as well. Like, to me, they looked a little bit, oh, maybe not. They might not be too orange, but with the green printing, I didn't know if I liked those as well. So that's the second choice. Or I can go with just the ones that look like raindrops. And, you know, we've got these little droppy things in here, so they would blend, or even these. So what do you think? I don't know. What do you think? I'm leaning more towards the little raindrops. I just don't think the stars are what I want. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the stars. But I do also like these. So again, that's a bit too yellow. Do you think maybe that's too yellow? Yeah, that's too yellow. All right, 2 or 3. Well, now you're a big help. 2 or 3. I think I like 3, Pam. I really do. I think I'm going to go with the clear ones, and we'll see what they look like. Thanks for your help, Pam. Okay, these ones have got like a little, I don't know if you probably can't see that, but they're like a little, where am I here? Little faceted, I got to go the right direction. They got little facets in them. So it looks like a little faceted gem almost. And they're called, that's what they're called, is faceted gems. Now, let's just sit one down here for a minute. Not too tightly, because I want to show you the other color that I have. Maybe, oh yeah, I think I like that better. It gives us a bit of color. So let's put one here. And now, you remember your rule of being 3s or being odd numbers. They also say that you should try to do a diamond. So we're going to try and do that. So there's or a triangle. So there's our triangle shape with our faceted gems. So that's our card. Let me just burnish that so it'll lay flatter. So that is our card done from that last sketch. And there's the sketch. And let's get rid of these papers. I never did use this, but I could have used the vellum. Maybe on top of that, I could have added the vellum to it as well, but I never did. Okay, and then this is the one I did originally using the same layout. So here's my thought. I'd like to do a monthly challenge, so I was hoping that you guys would participate in that. So if I pick a day, so today we're going to select one of these challenges, and then you have a month to create a card using that challenge, post it on my Arding's Creation page, and then when we do the next one, I'll show those cards somehow. I have to figure out how I'm going to do that, because there'll be pictures that you will have sent me. And then we'll go and do another sketch for the next. Just something where you can be a little bit more interactive, and you guys can take part in them as well, and not have to mail anything, but just find a way that we can share them. And I'll figure that out somehow, how that's going to work. But anyways, that's what I want to do. So if you think that's a good idea, let me know, and I may do it like on a Wednesday. And then set the challenge up for the next Wednesday as well. It might not be a video. It might only be on Facebook, because then that way I'd be able to share the pictures in a post that everybody sent, and then put the next challenge up on that post for the next month. So let me know how you want to do that. And if I get more than 5 people participating, I think there's going to be a random draw for a prize for each challenge, each monthly challenge that has over more than five people contributing to that challenge. Anyways, that's my plan. I hope you think that's a good idea. I know this didn't go as long today as we normally do, but I hope you got some good ideas out of it. And I think you'll have some fun trying some of these challenges. So that if the one that I would like to try, and I will post this on my Facebook page, but the one I would like to try is this bigger one. Okay, the one I showed you the first time. This is the one that I did from that. Oops, wrong way around. Turn the right side. And this is a bigger card. So, and then when I do, I'll also show you how to make the envelopes for these, just in case you don't, you're not sure, although you have an envelope punch board that everything's there, but we'll talk about that as well. So anyways, let me show you. So this is the sketch we're going to do, and I will post this up on my Facebook page. And let me just put all of the cards that we've done with the sketches. So this one went with this sketch. This one went with this sketch. This one, again, using your scraps, and we'll add an extra challenge of some type to go with it. I cannot pick. Maybe it'll be a color challenge. Maybe it'll be a theme challenge. I can't pick. It wouldn't have to be making the very same card, but the same sketch. Della. So you would use the same, whatever sketch I post, that's what you'd be using, but you interpret that sketch however you want. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as what I've made. It's just going to be how you interpret that sketch to be. So in this particular one, the one we're going to be doing, I just want to put these other cards up here before I forget. These are the other sketches that we used today and made cards from. however you want to do that. Like, for instance, I think you weren't here at the beginning, Della, and this one goes with this challenge. And I totally interpreted it a little bit differently. In fact, I made this a 6x6 card when this is not a 6x6 card. So you can, yeah, Adele, I'm going to put them all together in a minute. You can interpret it however you want, but it's based on the sketch, on the actual sketch. So first, let me show you all the cards, and then I'll show you the sketch that we're going to be using. Let me get rid of all of these so we're not so cluttered. So here's the cards that I did for today, out of different sketches. These were not out of one sketch. They were all out of different sketches. So let's see if we got them all in there. If not, I'll make them higher and make them only 2. How's that? Maybe that's what I need to do. It's like doing pieces of a puzzle here. Yeah, can we see them now? All right. I'll also post these on my Facebook page as well, so you'll be able to see those as well. So the sketch that we're going to work from for the upcoming challenge, and I will put this on Facebook page, is this particular sketch. So all the sizes are here. Again, interpret it however you want. I added some extra things onto this one that was not on the sketch. I added an extra layer that's embossed in behind because I didn't like all of this empty space. You interpret that sketch however you want. That's part of the challenge, is interpreting that sketch in a way that makes a card that you're happy with. And I will add to this particular challenge for the next month that it be out of your scraps. So you have to use your scrap box, envelope, whatever you keep your scraps in order to make this particular card. So I hope that's clear. If it isn't, just message me and we'll talk about it. But I will get this up on my Facebook page and the challenge up on my Facebook page, and I can't wait to see what you create with that. Thanks for joining me today, and next Sunday we'll be back to doing a technique. I really would appreciate hearing from you if you have a technique you'd like to see or a type of card you'd like to see. My last week's Sunday Snapshot is not up on YouTube yet. Hubby's going to be working on that today. Plus, he'll put this one up on YouTube as well. If you check it out on YouTube, please subscribe and like. More important to subscribe. I'm trying to get enough users so that we can, or subscribers, so that we can actually do our YouTubes live as opposed to Facebook Live. So that's the goal that I'm working for. But anyways, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope you take part in the challenge, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye for now.